the session as well. Okay. I guess yesterday's session I have to send to sir. I will do that. Now coming back to slide. Hope you are able to see the slides over here. This is unit 3. Yesterday whatever I have done as descriptive statistics was a basic of that, which was there in the second unit. From today we are officially starting unit 3. We'll complete the theory part real quick, then we will go to our execution part once again. Okay, but you need to be very familiar with this. As I told you, this particular t-test, chi-square test and z-test, ANOVA, z-test, theoretically I will show it to you later. All these things, ANOVA and all, which you have already learned in your statistics practically, then in BRM, now once again in marketing analytics. So this is how the subject is. Obviously, even then, we'll consider that most of you may not be knowing about all these things, and I will be teaching you again. What is t-test? The t-test tells you how significant the difference between the groups are. In other words, it lets you know if those differences could have happened by chance. Very difficult to understand. T-test tells you how significant the difference between the groups are. So if given a particular situation, how it is different for two population, how the effect is different for two population, to check that we will go with t-test. I know it is very difficult to understand just with the meaning over here, so that is the reason this particular example comes in your way now. Hope you can read that. Let's say you have a cold, touch wood, let it not happen now, okay, but let's assume that you have cold, and what you have done, you have tried a naturopathic remedy, naturopathy, right? The other phase of Ayurveda, naturopathy. So you have tried that, you have used that naturopathy treatment for your cold, and within 2 days your cold subsided. Within 2 days your cold subsided. Next time, once again, when you had cold, this time instead of going for naturopathy, what you have done, you have directly gone to a medical shop and told, boss, give me some tablets for my cold. I will take and I will get myself cured. And this time when you took tablet directly from the medical shop, the cold lasted for a week. So first and foremost, when you took naturopathy treatment, the cold was there for 2 days, and if at all, when next time when you have taken the over-the-counter medicine, nothing but directly going and asking the medical shop person, very common, we Indians do this, right? When that has been done, the cold was there for 7 days. Now you wanted to do a survey and you asked your friends, what actually you do when you have cold? They told, you survey your friends and they all tell you that their colds were of a shorter duration, maybe for 3 days. When they took homeopathic remedy, now you have 3 remedies or 3 medicines for a same disease. Cold is the only disease which you are checking here, and you tried with naturopathy, it went off in 2 days. You tried with English medicine over the counter without the help of doctor, it subsided within 7 days. Now when you asked your friends who were taking homeopathy, they told within 3 days we were able to control the symptoms. Now all these situations, that 2 days, 7 days or 3 days, whether it is similar to everyone or it is different, or whatever has happened is just by chance, whether it was just a probability. To check all these things, there is a test, and that test is called as t-test. Am I clear? Am I clear? With a very simple example, I have just tried to explain you. Have you understood, students? Yeah? Very good. We'll go further. T-score. What is t-score? The t-score is ratio between the difference between two groups and the difference within the group. The larger the t-score, the more difference there is between the group. That is simple, very simple. When you check the t-score, you get to know that whatever you're considering the value, whether it is a probability, whether it is just by a chance, or actually if that happens. If it is probability, higher the value. Komal, can you tell me which one I need to explain again? Example? Okay, example. I will go back and I will re-explain. Okay. I was telling you, right? So there are three chances when you have a cold. It was a simple example of attacking by a virus, and let's consider that it is cold. Okay, so three remedies are available when you have cold. One, you go for naturopathy or consider it as Ayurveda, and your symptoms subsided within 2 days. Next time when you had cold, you have taken help of this medical store guy and you were able to subside the situation within 1 week, that is 7 days. When you ask your friends what is your experience, what you will do when you have cold, okay, they tell that we consider homeopathy as our remedy, and within 3 days our situation will come under control. Now all these things, within 2 days of naturopathy, 7 days of over the counter, and 3 days of homeopathy, is it same when we experiment this on each individual, or maybe I'm different? For me, if I try naturopathy, maybe it will subside in 2 days. For you, it may subside in 1 day. For sir, it may subside in 7 days. We don't know. To check that whether it is same to everyone or it is different, what you will do? You will go with t-test. Hope you have understood now. Komal. Thank you. I expect questions like this. I want you to ask questions. Okay? Yeah. Now, the t-score is a ratio between the difference between two groups. Okay? It is a score, or it is a ratio between the difference of two groups and the difference within the group. The larger the t-score, the more difference you will find. Okay, that means the larger the t-score, you say that okay, whatever has happened, most probably it is based on chance, and it is not similar to everyone. It is not same to everyone. It is most probably by chance. Understood? Most probably it is by chance, is what you will think. In case the T score is lesser and lesser, then you will think that okay, it is similar to everyone. Whatever is my experience is the same experience to other person also. Okay, so this is what you will think, this is what you will assume. So this is how the T scores are assumed. Am I clear? Am I clear? Yeah, good. So we will go further. This is the formula. T is equal to m minus mu divided by s divided by square root of n. M means mean, mu means theoretical value, whichever you consider. S is standard deviation and n is equal to variable set size. I want you to write this formula. I will give you 2 minutes to complete writing the formula. Please complete it.
You are now muted. You are now unmuted.
Completed writing? Very good. Thank you so much. Mean value will be given. Okay, mu also will be given. Of course, the similar formula, same formula we have to use for Z test also. Okay, so larger the data set, we will go for Z test. Okay, so let's remember that. Larger the data set, we will go for Z test. More than 30 is what theoretically we have studied in our statistics. Okay, same formula we will use there also. Z test in turn is nothing but T test, but for a larger data set, that's all. Okay, in R we can execute this very easily with the help of the formula as well as with the help of some data set also, some package also. When we are there, when we are going to execute the data, I will be telling you that. Next comes ANOVA. Next comes ANOVA. Okay, so what is ANOVA? Analysis of variance. Analysis of variance is called as ANOVA. Okay, a statistical formula used to compare variance across the means of different groups. A range of scenarios use it to determine if there is any difference between the means of different groups. You can see the PPT over there, the image over there. You have more than two variables, right? So more than two variables you have. So when you have more than two variables to check multiple analysis when you have to do, then you will go with ANOVA. Analysis of variance is called as ANOVA. Hope I am clear. When you have more than two variables, which one you will check? You will go with ANOVA. Okay? Checking the relationship again. Okay? Yeah. Let's understand the example. You can read the example. To study the effectiveness of different diabetes medications, scientists design and experiment to explore the relationship between the type of medicines and the resulting blood sugar level. What they have done for that? The same population is a set of people. What they have done? They have divided the sample population. Am I audible, or there is lag in my voice? Am I audible? If someone replies, that will be great. Okay, fine. Little breaking. Okay, now it would be fine. The network shows fine now. Okay. Okay, so what has happened? There is a set of people. Okay, a scientist want to check various types of medicine and how effective the medicine is. Okay, they have designed and experiment to explore the relationship between type of medicines and the resulting blood sugar level. What they have done? The same population is a set of people. They have divided the sample population into multiple groups. Most probably 50 people they have taken. They have considered 10, 10, 10, 10. So 5 tens they have considered, 5 groups of 10 people. Okay, and they have given these 5 different medicines, and after completing a particular course, they wanted to check the result of that. Okay, and each group receives a particular medicine for a trial period. At the end of trial period, blood sugar levels are measured for each of the individual participants. Then for each group, the mean blood sugar is calculated. ANOVA helps to compare these group means to find out if they are statistically different or if they are similar. So what happened here? Different medicine is given to 10 different groups. 5 groups of 10 people. Different medicines. Whether the effectiveness of these medicine is same or different is what you are going to check. When you have more than 2 variables, when you have more than 2 experiments to do, that is where you will go with ANOVA, analysis of variance. Am I clear? Am I clear? Have you understood? Yes, fine. Fine, we'll go to the next slide now. Continued. The outcome of ANOVA is the F statistic. This ratio shows the difference between the within group variance and the between group variance, which ultimately produces a figure which allows a conclusion that the null hypothesis is supported or rejected. If there is a significant difference between the groups, null hypothesis is not supported and F ratio will be larger. What do you mean by this null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis? If anyone can appraise me on this. What is null hypothesis? Anyone? What is hypothesis basically? Assumptions. Very good, Rohit. Very good. Nothing but assumptions. Correct. So, what type of assumption you do? In statistics, you assume that the null hypothesis and there is an alternative hypothesis. That means hypothesis is nothing but you are asking a question to the data. You are asking the question whether you have any relationship between the variables or do you don't have any relationship. This is what I'm going to check. You have to tell me the answer. How you will tell me the answer? By statistical analysis. I know I will do the statistical analysis. But before that, I need to raise a question. What is the question? Do you have any relationship between you or do you don't have any relationship? When you say you don't have any relationship, that becomes null hypothesis. That is, H naught says that there is no significant relationship. There is no significant relationship between the variables. If you tell that, this is your H naught. Null hypothesis, not null hypothesis. If the statement says that there is a significant difference between the variables, maybe x, maybe y, maybe z, that is the reason I'm just telling variables. If you tell that, then you say that there is a difference and it is H alternative. These are the questions you are going to ask the data. When you analyze and your outcome will come, right? Now you have to tell me whether it is H naught or whether it is H alternative. It is like MCQ question you are asking to the data. Is there any difference or there is no difference? There is no difference, then what it is? There is no significant difference. Null hypothesis. There is a difference, alternative hypothesis. Or there is no significant relationship. There is a significant relationship. If you say that rainfall and yield has no relationship, then it is null hypothesis. If you ask the data, rainfall and the yield has a significant relationship, then it is alternative hypothesis. Hope you are understanding. The other way around, let's look at the formula. Let's look at the formula. Let's go back to t-test. Okay. If mean value is lesser than mu value H naught, greater than H alternative. I will explain you whenever the requirement of the data comes. I will explain you all those stuff. Okay, as of now you understand only this much. This is more than enough. Now in ANOVA there are two types. One is one-way ANOVA. Another one is two-way ANOVA. Very simple. Looks very simple. The name is very, very simple. One-way ANOVA, two-way ANOVA. So what is one-way ANOVA? The one-way analysis of variance is also known as single factor ANOVA or simple ANOVA. As the name suggests, the one-way ANOVA is suitable for experiments with only one independent variable with two or more levels. Okay? One-way ANOVA is suitable for experiments with only one independent variable with two or more levels. That means one independent variable, two or more dependent variable. If rainfall increases, yield also increases. Water level in the dams also will increase. So these are assumptions which we can do. Independent and more, one independent, more dependents. For instance, a dependent variable may be what month of the year there are more flowers in the garden. There will be 12 levels a one-way ANOVA assumes. So let's consider our Lalbagh garden, flower garden, Lalbagh flower garden. Okay, let's assume that in the month of February, March, there are more flowers in the rose garden which is there in Lalbagh. But when you are considering, when you are checking, there are 12 months you have to check. You can't just assume that okay, in the month of February or in the month of March there will be more flowers. Yes, this is the answer. If you do that, then there will be no difference between you and a government employee. Okay, unfortunately we need to tell this. Some of them, not everyone, some of them. Okay, so analysis becomes very important. You have to check. January, what is the quantity of flower? February, how much? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. You have 12 months. So in these 12 months, in which month there will be more yield? Based on the numbers you will check. Am I clear? Am I clear? And this is one-way ANOVA. What is this normalcy of the data? Normal curve, normal bell-shaped curve. What do you mean by this? A normal bell-shaped curve is symmetric in nature and it assumes that the data is relevant and almost equal at all the stages. At all the stages. You would have studied normal distribution, theoretical distribution, normal bell-shaped curve, acceptance region, rejection region. The overall area of bell-shaped curve is 1. Subdivided into left side minus 0.5, right side plus 0.5. And the value is 1 mu. Correct? Have you seen that? So data is assumed that the data is normally distributed. Now, once again, you are confused. What is this normally distributed? Let me tell you. Let me give you a better example. Now, I am going to do a consumer satisfaction survey. I'm talking about one of your BBA topic most probably. Consumer satisfaction survey on online platforms, OTT platforms. Consumer satisfaction survey on online, what is that? OTT platform. So let's, in that, I'm subdividing that into Amazon Prime and Netflix. Okay, so a comparative consumer satisfaction survey on Amazon Prime videos and Netflix. Very relevant, you people can understand easily now. Now, if I have to check which OTT platform these the consumers are very much satisfied with, or very much they think that ease of using the platform is very easy. Which one they think? So to do that, to check that whom you are going to ask. First and foremost, who knows about these OTT platforms? Person who doesn't know anything about OTT platform, he's still thinking about his cable charges, and you go and you ask him about OTT platform, he will tell, I don't know what you mean by that. Please don't ask me anything. That is not your data. That is not the population or the sample you are looking at. Then you want those people who are using these OTT platforms. You approach them. You approach them. Correct? Subscribers of Amazon Prime and Netflix. Simple. You check and you go and ask them the questions. Now, if you are asking questions only to your friends, maybe you people are in the age group of 18, 19, 20. If you are asking only, your teacher would have told you 100 respondents are mandatory, minimum 100. You will be scratching your brain. Why teacher is telling 100? We'll discuss that later, why. But your teacher would have told minimum 100. Then you're scratching your head and you got a solution. If I ask first years, second years and my classmates, my job is done. Anyhow, I will get 100 respondents. Most of you would have collected the data just like that. But if you have done that, you are not justifying to your work. Very simple. Reason is they fall under the same age group. Then, in that case, what happens? The data is skewed towards a particular age group and your conclusion is biased. Your findings are biased. It is not the actual finding. Then what I need to do now? How I will get to know why it is biased? They will tell the answer, no sir. No. Even if they would have given the right answer, still your conclusion and findings are biased because you have asked only a set of age group. You have not diversified your age group. If that is the case, if you want a normality in your data, then what do you need to do? Very simple. Change the topic. Comparative customer satisfaction survey of OTT platforms with special reference to Amazon Prime and Netflix of age group from 18 to 20. Now you have 2518, 2519, 2520, 2521. So now you got this 100, right? See, 18, 19, 20, 21. This is normal. Equally distributed data. This is normal in nature. This is normal in nature. If not, if at all you have not specified the age group, at least in scope you need to specify the age group. If not, if you don't specify, then your data is skewed data and the analysis and the interpretation and the conclusion whatever you are giving is completely biased and not a trustworthy report. So, whenever you are writing your scope of the study in your this research, this one you are doing, please be very careful about that. Hope I am clear. So, that normalcy is very much important whatever data you are doing. The value of dependent variable is normally distributed. Should be there. Should be normally distributed. Gender wise also. You should not ask only female candidates. You should not ask only the male candidates. 50% female, 50% male. Simple. If not, your data is gender biased. Gender biased it will be. Okay, that means the data is skewed towards a particular gender and the conclusion is not satisfiable or not actually for the other gender. Simple. If at all boys are thinking that I will only fill 100 datas and everywhere I will give only the gender will be only male, then your analysis itself is completely wrong. Of course, the number of data I was talking about 100, minimum 100. Teachers will tell minimum 100. Why minimum 100? What is this? It is called as data adequacy. The sample 100, basically for your degree level, we will tell it as 100, but you should be able to get more and more data because it is called as data adequacy. Okay, so the data adequacy, yes sir, what is the doubt? Yes sir, yes sir.
See, I collected around 2000 data.
Sir?
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 Sir, to you?
Now you can ask sir, I guess.
Okay. Audible, because the network showing it not audible here. I mean, network is not there. Okay. So, the thing is, see, I have collected around 2000 data. Okay.
Okay.
In the skew data, all put together and, skew data and all, I have got around 1296 data. In that 1296 data or 2000, around 60 to 65% is female and rest is male. So with this data accurate?
Yes, it is. It should be accurate because obviously,
Huh.
statistically,
Huh.
you tell that 50% and 50%. But when it comes to practical scenario, you may not be able to consider the
Correct.
exact 50% and 50%. But at
Correct. See, basically,
60% and 40%. It
yeah, I've reached.
25% and 75%.
Okay.
Then, of course, yeah.
So out of that, around 1,200 is of females. That's okay, no, sir. That is should be okay, no.
That
Data.
should be fine. That should be fine.
Okay, okay. That's
Of
what.
your
Thank you, sir.
2000.
Yes, after from 2000.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So now sir was telling 2000 data. Most probably he would have told you 100, but he has collected 2000. Understand the difference. Why sir has collected 2000? Because it is called as data adequacy. Students, to check whether the data you have collected is adequate for the study whatever you are doing, you have some tool called as Cronbach Alpha. Cronbach Alpha. So you have to check whether your data is adequate enough to go further. Of course, at your level, I don't think you will be going so much further. If at all you are doing that
So sorry to interrupt, sir.
greatest work.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, sir, because this data which is I have for my research, I am asking you, so I
Yes,
had a
sir.
little
Yes,
bit
sir.
doubt. So that is the reason I asked you, sir.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for clearing my doubt.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Okay, so this is what you do. You have to your data should be normal, your data should be adequate. That is the reason. You come up with 50 respondents and you tell that, sir, I will do my research. I will conclude my study. I cannot go beyond 50. If you tell that, if I am there, I will tell you, students, please understand, you are doing a research study and it is not a very small case study you are doing. Okay, it is a research. You are concluding on a particular topic. Such a huge responsibility you are taking. Then even your data should be adequate. At your level, at academic level, of course, 100 is the minimum respondents we want because this is a field study. If I'm this is a field study, right? So whether it is one way ANOVA, whether it is Z test, T test, whichever test it is, Data should be adequate. Data should be normally distributed. Hope you are understanding. Hope you are understanding. Right? The variance is comparable in different experiment groups. The dependent variable is continuous and can be measured on a scale which can be subdivided. Your teacher would have told you to collect it in Likert scale, 5 scale of Likert or 7 scale. They would have told you. You need to be able to measure that. You need to be able to understand the data. That is the reason that scale will be ill. If not, you would have told, okay, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, and conclude. No, you cannot do that. To make sure that the data is adequate, to make sure that the data is analyzable, concludable, findable, that is why you need to make sure that it is quantitative in nature, calculable in nature. Okay, that is the reason it should be in scale. Further, full factorial ANOVA, that is 2 ANOVA. Full factorial ANOVA is used when there are 2 or more independent variable. You have more independent variable and less for those independent variable you have dependent variables. Okay, each of these factors have multiple levels. Full factor ANOVA can only be used in the case of a full factorial experiment where there is use of every possible permutation of factors and their levels. This might be the month of the year when there are more flowers in the garden, and then the number of sunshine hours. That means in a day, how many, from when to when the sunshine will be there. More the sunshine, there are more flowers in that month. 2 independent variables. One is more flowers and when one is sunshine. You know, more the sunshine, if at all, more the sunshine, more the flowers. So if that is the case, then you have 2 independent variables, and accordingly you will have dependent variables as well. Once again, this should be continuous, it should be independent in nature, variance should be different group in the same, and normality of the data is mandatory. Hope I am clear. And being in this analytics now, I expect you to do your field study. Don't restrict only to your graphs, don't restrict only to the tables and graphs and your interpretation. I request you to analyze the data. Okay, put some statistical analysis. Anyhow, after completing this theory, we are going to learn the practical part of it. I want you people to analyze those data in R software. Do the Z test, do the chi-square test, do t-test, and your project itself will become a capstone project, and you can get a better internship and you can get a better job with that capstone project. That is just a view from my end. Hope you're fine with that. Okay,